Hello and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the technical analysis of various Bitcoin mining charts. Not going to go through the whole extensive list, but we will go through the main ones that at least I've seen you guys comment about in the comments below. So let's start off with fear and greed. And on CNN, still up in the greed. We were in extreme greed last week, and you can see pie vesting still hovering just a little bit over extreme greed. As far as crypto fear and greed, because mining stocks, even though they are stocks, do act more like altcoins, so we want to pay attention to what the crypto markets fear and greed index is. We are still up in the greed, and as you guys can see, we were down in the fear not too long ago, now hanging sideways, so we will see what happens here, whether we break to the upside or we start showing some weakness in the near term. And again, as I was saying, mining stocks act a lot like altcoins have, at least in the past. So when Bitcoin's price goes up quite a bit, and then the dominance of Bitcoin, that's the overall percent of money that is in Bitcoin from the overall crypto market, all of a sudden starts rolling over or rotating into altcoins, mining stocks. That's when you can see some of these pop off. And as far as the alt season market, creating a higher high from this downtrend. When we started confirming the uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, we do now recently have a higher high. Also, I talk about the crypto cycles and videos every week, so subscribe if you want to get into that. So as far as Bitcoin, there's a couple things going on here. One, we are still in this channel, and up here is this trend line Bitcoin's been obsessed with since the very beginning. We've already talked about that before. But you see from this low here and from these highs, we are now in this channel, and Bitcoin's getting rejected off a couple areas. One, that trend line, the upper end of that channel. Two, the bigger channel that Bitcoin's been in, this downward channel. And three, this gray line right here, which coincides with the top in 2021. So a few areas of resistance right there. Right now we do have a sell signal on the daily, so I wouldn't worry too much, guys, unless we start making lower lows. So we have the 200-day moving average, this trend line here, and this low at about 59K. So even in the most bearish scenario, if Bitcoin, by the time it gets down here, it'd probably be close to where that 59, 60, 61K level is. If it were to come down here, and if it did, you would want to see this hold, and if that didn't, then you could see lower 50,000s, but we're not going to get there yet. As far as we know, this could just be a higher low. So let's get into the mining stocks, and let's start off with Marathon Digital Holding and see where Marathon's at. So pretty good news here. Marathon's breaking above the resistances on the daily. Does have this descending wedge, if you will, a pretty big macro structure here from these lower lows, from these lower highs. Did get a weekly buy signal not too long ago, so right now is wicking above this 0.5. Again, looking good on the daily. I'd say this is looking good on the weekly as well, but we do want to see what happens here at this descending trend line. So watch for the area around 21. If it can break above that, then the true test is the 618 fib. You can see in the past, Mara has tested this 618 fib and really not been able to get over that, at least consistently. It had two candles above it, and that was it, or candle body. So overall, looking pretty solid for Mara. Let's go over to RIOT and RIOT platforms. Let's see what we got here. So we've been talking about this one being pretty decent, great value discounts when it was hitting this 236 fib at around the high $6 mark. So it has been shooting on up. You can see on the weekly we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green weeks up, and it was it tagged the 50-week moving average. So we do have some resistances, the 382, the 100, the 200, obviously the 0.5 upper end of this channel up here. But we have all these resistances to get through, so we'll see if RIOT can do that. As far as on the daily, still chopping up pretty good. If it can get through this 200-day moving average, then that's looking good for reclaiming or getting back to that 382 Fibonacci level at around $11. But again, you want to after we get through this, if we do, you then want to watch to see what happens with RIOT, at least on the weekly. And if you guys are wondering what moving average is I'm using, it's the EMA 20, 50, 100, 200. And again, the dark blue is the 200, light blue 100. This one, the orange is the 50. The reds, there's a couple different red ones, EMA, SMA for the 20. Next, let's go over to CleanSpark. And again, guys, sorry, I'm not going to have time to run through all of them, but I did want to get a video out for you. So CleanSpark, right here, it's on the 100 and 200 day moving average, also running into resistance at the 618. So we'll see if it can get above the 618, but it did have a nice base here at the 0.5 fib. So even if it doesn't reclaim it, if it gets anywhere near this 0.5, I'd say that's better value, at least as far as the last year's concerned. Ever since February of 2024, that's where we are. So we are within the middle of the range of where we've been this last year. But if it starts breaking down here, then it's within the lower end of that range. Wouldn't mind that value at all. But we'll see what can happen. And as CleanSpark on the weekly goes, you can see reclaiming all those moving averages on the weekly. So that's pretty good. We'll see if it can claim the 618 and start closing above it, kind of like it did down here at the, how it was able to get support at the 0.5. Let's see if it can gain support at the 618, right around that $12, $13 level. And next, let's go to Cipher. Cipher is a mining stock I know a lot of people like, and we talked about how the 200-week moving average just spawned in not too long ago, within this last month. So reclaiming all those, and Cipher, it's been one of the strongest looking mining stocks. And again, you might take a look at a stock like RIOT, see that it's way down here and say, well, I can get more multiples on my value. It's deeper value. Yes, be that as it may, it's also weak for a reason. So from the people I know who have mega amounts of money or work in the industry with mega amounts of money, they like charts like this a lot more because it shows more strength, more volume, more people consistently staying in. Not to say that RIOT can't do well, but this one, we have 5 green weeks up, and it is claiming the 200-week moving average. And should it get above that, then we're testing the 786 at around 690 again. So you can see last time at the 786 got rejected, but this thing is just shot off, and it looks like it's trying to gear up for that again. So if it does happen, you can see these points here. Okay, so there's kind of this range from where we are till about 590. But if it can get above that, you want to see the 786 get reclaimed and get a close above around 796 there, because then we're making a higher high. So Cipher overall looking good. Wolfgang, how we doing today? Checking in with y'all. Man, Wolf getting ready to possibly make a yearly high. Am I getting that right? So yeah, as far as the yearly high, Wolf is close to breaking it, which is great. You guys, I remember talking about this one when it's at the trend line down here, the 236, talking about the great value. And then as it's shown weakness, I was saying, okay, where's it going to bounce? Off this trend line, the 382, that's where it bounced. It was staying off the 100-day moving average, and boom, that's a launch pad. So next, if Wolf can get above 650, then you're looking for the 618, sorry, the 618 at around 813. And you want to see it not get rejected, but at least hold it. But even if it did get rejected, it was able to form a base and stay above the 0.5, that'd be looking pretty good for Wolf. I'll do one more here, and then we'll sign off, because I've seen people comment about this one below. Sorry, again, I can't do all the mining stocks today, just crunch for time. Iris Energy, you can see we've had this trend line that it's been bouncing off of, having a good bounce again. So if this starts to take off, you can see it's bullish on the daily. Let's see what it is on the weekly. Bullish, we just have one of the 20s. I'm not sure if it's EMA or SMA. But if it gets above that, we can challenge the 786 again, which it wasn't able to quite take. But if it does, then it's go time. And again, guys, we see Bitcoin near all-time highs, and it should Bitcoin not get rejected. This is really all these stocks, everything they're doing. Bitcoin's been in this downward channel, and should Bitcoin not get rejected here, but break above this channel trend line and get into the 73, 74K region again, even up to, let's see where this trend line goes, even up somewhere like 80, you know those mining stocks, most likely, most of them, or if not all of them, are going to do pretty well. So what Bitcoin does here is very important. You know, it still might get close to its all-time high and then roll over. We'll see. But this channel it's been in, what I want to see if Bitcoin truly breaks above is that this descending channel, that becomes support rather than resistance, as it's been a few times in the past. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Take care.